Now we come to the exotic pudding, Judith, which is a trifle. So for the trifle, I'm using 6 of those sponges that you buy especially for trifle. They're called trifle sponges, and they're not expensive. You can use leftover. Thank you, Judith. You can use leftover sponges if you wish, a leftover sponge cake.
Lovely, 2 lovely strawberries there.
Yes. Strawberry jam's the nicest, and it's the nicest for colour as well. I'll put that down underneath you. There we are. Put the lids on like that. So the first thing is to sandwich them 6 sponges together and put them into a dish. Press them down. This is a 1.5 pint dish, and I'm just going to press these down. They don't fit exactly, but they'll go well down. There we are.
And they all get blended together, obviously, once
That's
you
right.
put
So we've got 6
liquid
sponges in a 1.5 pint dish. There we are. And then comes to the other exciting things that go on top. I'm using a small can of pears, Judith. Could be any fruit, but pears I think are rather nice. Give them a push round. And then ratafiers are the classic sort of almond biscuit to put on. I'm doing it because it's the right thing to do, but you can go, if you can't get them, and you can use just a macaroon. Those are rather bigger than these macaroons, and
break them up
and crumble them over the top, and they're just as good. And then to the soaking it at the end, I've got the juice of an 8-ounce can of pears, and I'm going to add that to that a tablespoonful of the cocktail cherry juice, and sherry, about 5 tablespoons.
Yes, this is where, as you say, this is our luxury pud. Because I think it's, what about sherry substitutes and things like that?
I don't think it's a good idea to use them at all.
Sounds good.
It's not. It isn't sherry trifle. If you're using good ingredients for the rest of the dish, why go and use a sherry substitute? Now press that right down, Judith, and you can put a few halved maraschino cherries on top like that. Keep some for decoration. Press them down.
And that obviously soaks up almost immediately, doesn't it?
Well, yes, it takes about 10 minutes. It depends how stale the sponge is.
Yes.
There we are. And then to a custard topping, which I'm quickly going to make. I've already made one there and it's set, but I'll just show you how to make the custard because it is slightly different.
Good. And that's over here.
So the custard, first of all, you heat the milk, and it's 1/2 pint of milk. This is a pouring custard. It's not. It's a delicious thing to make, and this is a vanilla pod. Judith, that's the real McCoy. You wouldn't have believed it.
I've never seen one, I don't
You
think.
can keep them and use them from time to time, a lot.
More than once.
More than once, and put them back, wrap them up again, and use them again. Then to the actual custard part, I'll just move these, do it on the edge here. Can we put that kettle over there, Judith? Into the bowl, 3 egg yolks. This is pouring custard is quite an expensive thing to do, but often people say, I know how to use up egg whites to make meringues and things, but nobody wants to make mayonnaise, maybe. And then you put sugar in with the egg. There we are. And then a little bit of corn flour, about a teaspoonful, in with that. So 3 egg yolks, 1 ounce of sugar and corn flour. And then you pour on. The corn flour helps to strengthen it and give it that extra thickness. Now pour on the custard.
The milk, yeah.
Sorry, the milk. And then return to the heat and cook very, very slowly. And I'm going to leave that, Judith, because it takes about 5 minutes to cook, and do it very, very slowly, if you like, on in a double pan. So if we go back, and I'll just finish the one that I've got here.
Right.
Now,
For that you want this.
let's just... There we are. There's one already soaked. I've got my 1/2 pint of custard, which is cooked until it coats the back of a spoon, and then poured over the top. And it is quite tricky. You mustn't let it boil or become too hot. It must be very, very hot, so you can hardly put your hand in, and it must coat the back of a spoon. Then let it get cold, and then pour it on top, and it sets like that.
Love
But
it. And by
is
that
tricky.
time, of course, it's all soaked in. It is tricky, so you've got to
It is
follow.
tricky. Follow the instructions, and also not let it boil. If you're at all worried, do it over a double pan. If you've got little ones under your feet, like I often have, it's quite a good idea to do it in a double pan. And then a quarter pint of cream on top. Now this is rather sloppy because I like it that way, because I added a little bit of milk to my quarter pint of double cream, and that's why it's sloppy. I've taken to doing that nowadays because it saves buying another carton, and so if I use quarter pint of cream,
Quarter of a pint of double
cream,
and
and
a
then
quarter of a pint of milk.
no, not as
No,
much as
nothing
that,
as
just
such, it would
about
be
4 tablespoonfuls of milk.
And then mix them all together.
And then the top, just a few cherries over the top. The maraschinos are infinitely nicer than the using the other type that are glassy ones. They're not nearly as nice. And the classic thing is to use almonds. I only bought a very few almonds. The spiked ones are the normal ones. I couldn't buy spiked, you can't anymore. I bought blanched ones and then shredded them up.
Well, that's absolutely super, Mary, and you've given us some lovely ideas.